Good morning, Arizona. This is ABZ-10 reporting live with new information on the Baseline Killer. Mark Godot is one of the most notorious killers in Arizona history. He was a man that knew what he was doing and knew how to execute it. This man in particular started off as the Baseline Rapist and is now known as the Baseline Killer. For the past year, the Valley has been living in fear, and it's finally coming to an end. Over 100 officers had been assigned to catch Mark Godot, and he had killed 9 people and raped many more before anyone had caught him. The Baseline Killer had 33 victims and 13 different attacks. He knew what areas to target and where he would find the easiest victims. Back to his first attack on August 6, 2005. The world changed for the people on 48th and Baseline. This is where 2 young girls were sexually assaulted behind the church. In the next month, a young woman was killed, along with 2 sisters being raped. Mark Godot had a plan and was starting to execute it. At a restaurant near Central and Baseline, a mother and her daughter were abducted and both sexually assaulted. This wasn't over. From December to March, a total of 5 more victims were killed by Mark Godot. On April 4th, 2006, the body of 26-year-old Christina Nicole Gibbons was found stuffed between a house and a storage unit. Another victim was found dead in April, and the last one found in June. In June, Carmen Miranda was abducted from a car wash and found dead in her car just a few blocks from where Mark Godot lived. On September 6, 2006, Mark Godot not only turned 42 years old, but he was also arrested in his home in Central Phoenix. With new evidence found, a new victim leading back to 1985, this would make Mark only in his early 20s. He held this young woman at gunpoint, forced her to drive him to a different location, sexually assaulted her, and forced her to drive him back. Mark Godot is now convicted of these rapes and murders and is awaiting the death penalty. Although DNA evidence was found for the murder of 1985, Mark Godot cannot be convicted for it because the statute of limitations has expired. Over the span of the Baseline Killer's crimes, we have conducted several interviews from important people in the case. Here are these interviews.
Good afternoon. My name is Officer Ray, here with the Phoenix Police Department, speaking on regards of the ongoing investigation involving Mark Godot, better known as the Baseline Killer. It is approximately 3:14 p.m. and we are located right outside East Baseline Road. We were able to get positive PID on the suspect with help from a nearby witness who claimed to have saw Godot kidnap a mother and her daughter earlier today. As of right now, we do not have any further evidence that leads us to the location of the mother and daughter, and they have been marked as missing. When talking to James, he seemed to be a little shocked at what he saw. Therefore, after getting his permission, we were able to take him in for further questioning. While sitting with one of our forensic sketchers, James seemed to have struggled to describe the appearance of Mark. However, he was able to give us enough details that matched Mark's vehicle and his personal appearance perfectly. Right at that moment, we knew that we were on track and had the right guy.
Hello, I am the judge for the Baseline Killer investigation going on in Phoenix, Arizona.
And I'm Mark Godot's wife, Wendy Carr.
Mark acted as a terrorist in the Phoenix area for 10 months, and he terrorized the community while putting everyone that lives in it in fear.
Mark is an innocent man. Our life together was perfect. If there is such thing as perfect, that was our life.
For months on end, we only had a drawing of what Mark looked like, and so everyone had to go about their day-to-day lives knowing that there was a killer, rapist, and robber out there.
Mark is the nicest man that I know. Mark and I have been together for 20 years, and we have a great relationship, a marriage that people envy.
He got sentenced 3 different times and tried to claim his innocence at every single sentencing.
I don't see anything odd, I don't see anything out of place, and I don't see mood swings. I don't see someone missing work, I don't see anything.
His first conviction was for 438 years. He was convicted for raping 2 sisters and sexually assaulting 15 different people, but he claimed his innocence for these charges.
I insist that that's not Mark's DNA. The police have manipulated the media. They've said horrible things about Mark. People want to believe that they have the right guy.
The jury is not biased for putting all of these crimes together. We have the DNA evidence, and we also have multiple pieces of evidence that point all of these crimes back to Mark.
Mark was arrested simply because he fit the profile. He's black, he lives in the area, many of the crimes happen near here, and he's on parole. That's just an easy target, and that's all that they need.
This is the largest serial killer investigation in Arizona history. It is said that he has attacked 33 different people, and that has proven to be true. He was sentenced to death for 9 killings, 8 of those people being women, and 1 of them being a man.
I can't speak for those women, but people don't know me and they don't know Mark. If they did, they would be supporting us.
In conclusion, he was sentenced to 1,200 years behind jail bars. He was convicted for sexually assaulting 15 people, raping 2 sisters, attacking 33 people, killing 9 people, and multiple robberies that we can't even account for.
I'm not even a betting woman, but I'd stake my life on it that Mark is innocent.
All of the evidence points to Mark being guilty, so for that he will serve full jail time and will eventually be sentenced to death if his appeals don't go through.
Hello, my name is James, and I was a witness to one of the Baseline Killer's abductions. It was one of the craziest things I'd ever seen. It's something you see on the TV and in movies, but you never expect to see it with your own 2 eyes. You know, I'm not proud that I didn't react and do anything to help. I just froze. But I doubt that there was anything I could have done in the moment anyway. It all just happened so fast. You can't help feeling that guilt, though. I'm at least glad that I was able to help the police find this man and help bring him to justice. It was absolutely heartbreaking, especially knowing that the mother had her daughter with her. I don't understand how evil like that can exist in this world. I pray that they made it out alive, but the trauma that those 2 must have went through is unimaginable. It is unbelievable that this one man is responsible for so much. I can't believe anybody would do that once, but the addiction this man seems to have to hurt others is purely evil. I knew I would never forget his face, the look in his eyes. When the police sat me down with a sketch artist, I was unsure if I could describe him. I was so worried about giving them an incorrect detail, I didn't want to mess up their whole investigation. But the image of him was burned right into my mind. And when the investigator flipped the notepad and I saw the drawing, it was like that night happened all over again, and the fear struck me again. It's incredible how he was able to get the same empty, soulless eyes that I saw that night. I'm just pleased the justice system worked here and it helped took a monster off the streets.
Hello, my name is Chelsea Vaughn. My sister and niece are only a few of the many that have been taken by Godot. I hoped that one day they would come back to me and my family. I hadn't heard from my sister for about 4 days, and that's very unlike her. I woke up that morning and turned my coffee machine on and made my morning coffee. After that, I had turned on the news, and that's when I saw that people had been abducted in my area. After seeing the story on the news about the missing people, I started to get really worried. I started calling everybody I knew, that my sister knew, her work, her husband, and just anybody that I could speak to. I had put out a missing persons report for my sister and my niece. I never thought anything like this could ever happen to my family, especially not them. My sister is the sweetest person you'll ever meet, and her niece is like an exact copy of her. I hope that they would come back safe, but the thing is, he had sexually assaulted both of them. And it broke my heart to hear that. The look in my sister's eyes when she told me what happened, I can never forgive Godot for what he did and has done to many others. He's going to get what's coming for him and more.